Welcome back to Ultimate Movie Recaps. Thanks for supporting us. Today I am showing a 2018 American prehistorical adventure film titled Alpha. Watch out for the spoilers, just enjoy and take care. The movie starts approximately 20,000 years ago, somewhere in prehistoric Europe. Tao leads a small squad of hunters as they prepare to attack a herd of bison. The bison stampede off the cliff due to a wall of spears created by hunters, but 3 of them survive. Tao's son Kata gets pursued by one of the bulls. It slams brutally on his face with its horns and drags him to the cliff's edge to flip him into the depths. Seeing his son in danger, Tao strikes the beast with his spear. It all starts a week before when the tribe's teenagers are put to test their spear-making skills. Kata and his friend Kappa are the only ones who have passed, thus they will be taken on the last hunting expedition before the winter arrives. They are also beaten up by the other guys to learn that pain will accompany them on their journey, and they are blessed by the local shaman around the campfire as part of the ritual that designates them as adults. Kata overhears Tao and his mother Ro chatting while pretending to be asleep. Ro doubts Kata's ability to hunt because he is led with his heart rather than his spear, but Tao believes he must do his part and justify himself to the tribe. The hunting party departs the next morning after saying their farewell and securing the shaman's approval. The party begins their trip across the land by following the ancient path established by their forefathers, who carved a series of rock formations that serve as a route for them to follow and hand paintings pointing in the direction of the hunting grounds. While on their journey, they meet across another hunting team commanded by Zai, an old friend of Tao, who has recently lost his son. After that, both parties embark on a journey together. Later they find a wild boar and injure it with a spear. Tao tells his son to kill the boar, but he could not do it, which prompts Tao to chastise Keta. One night when they detect a noise behind them while eating by the fire, they quickly take defensive positions. When nothing happens, they relax, which seems to be a mistake. A cave lion appears out of nowhere and snatches Kappa, taking him away to devour. The men build a mound the next morning to offer Kappa a memorial service, which represents the passing of one spirit towards the eternal. When they locate a huge and safe cave to sleep in the evening, Tao takes advantage of the situation to get Keta a tattoo of constellations, just like him, so he can always find his way home. After many days, they ultimately uncover a dump track that leads to a herd of bison, which brings the story back to the beginning. Keta tries to grab onto a rocky cliff edge as he falls, but he slips and lands on a lower ledge, where he breaks his leg and passes out. Tao tries to climb down, desperate to save his son, but his companions stop him, pointing out that it is too late. When he doesn't wake up, he stays on the edge of the valley all day and night calling his son. The next morning, his father and other men create a small structure made of stones as a gesture of grief. On the other hand, a vulture appears and rests on Keta's chest. The vulture begins to bite him, but Keta awakens and throws it away before it could do any harm. He's been unconscious the whole time. He shouts out to his father, but they don't respond because they've already abandoned him. He begins to descend the cliff, but due to his injured leg, he cannot use his full energy. He must also be cautious because of the deep valley down. After some time the rain begins and the valley gets filled with water. When his hand slips, he falls into the water. However, his life gets spared and gets washed away to an unknown place. He ties his broken leg with sticks and climbs the cliff. To his dismay, he finds a bunch of stones placed in his memory. He spends the entire night on the dead tree. A pack of wolves start chasing Keta when he finds water. He immediately runs towards the tree to save his life, but one of the wolves catches his foot. Keta injures it with the knife. Eventually, the wolf growls and howls at him the whole night. The next morning we notice only the injured wolf below the tree. Keta gets down from the tree and prepares to kill the wolf to relieve it from the pain, but he could not do it because he feels pity looking at it. He takes the wolf after tying its mouth to a cave where his tribesmen stayed one night and attend to her wounds. The next morning he goes out and brings some herbs that could heal his injury. The wolf unties itself, while Keta was drinking water. He offers water to the wolf. Initially it growls at him, but after seeing the indications, it settles down and sips the water. Keta further offers worms to her. As they were staying in that cave, slowly a bonding develops between them. One night Keta checks the constellation of stars with the tattoo on his hand, which was done by his father, and realizes that he has to return home. The next morning he embarks on a journey to reach his home. He further insists to the wolf that it should join its pack, as he is also heading towards his family before the harsh winter arrives. While he was heading to his family, he notices that the wolf was following him even after his several warnings. But the wolf does not stop following him. Keta thinks that the wolf is hungry when it could not hunt a wild boar. He gives some worms to the wolf which he has been eating, and for the first time, it eats from his hands. We can infer that the two have become good friends. Later that wolf catches a rabbit and they both devour it. The wolf wakes him up one morning by licking his face. Keta realizes that the wolf was stinking, so they decide to take a bath. Keta tosses the wolf into the water, and the two of them take a bath together. Since the wolf is a predator, it catches a fish to eat. They both resume their journey and hunt together once more. The wolf is given the name Alpha by Keta, and one night as they were eating together, some wolves appear, and Alpha goes to them. Keta believes it is the Alpha's family, and he convinces him to accompany them. Alpha departs from there with her family. In the morning, Keta travels back to his house as winter has arrived once again and he needs to navigate through the snowstorms. He notices some wolves were devouring a dead animal, and Alpha was present there. But the wolves were refusing to let him eat the prey, so he charges toward Alpha. As he runs toward the wolf, the ice beneath him cracks, and he falls into the water. Now we can realize that he was running through a frozen lake. Alpha rushes up to him and attempts to leap to liberate him, but the ice was very thick. Keta breaks the ice with his knife and emerges from the water. Finally, they get reunited. He removes his clothes as quickly as possible and lights a small fire, where they both sleep together. The next day, they go together and he sees a tent, which makes him glad since he can see another individual after such a long time. However, when he gets close enough, he notices that the person has already died due to the harsh cold. Keta and Alpha move ahead after taking the bow from him. When some hyenas attack them, they flee to a cave for protection. They discover that the cave is home to a lion and it attacks Keta. After looking at him, Alpha attacks the loin, and Alpha seems to be in a vulnerable position. Keta couldn't take it any longer, so he attacks the lion with the arrow and bow to kill it. Later he applies some medicine to Alpha's wounds and tells her that she is also one among them. The next morning he once again heads toward his destination in the snow blizzards and discovers the sacred memorial that was erected by his ancestors, which makes him happy as he was heading on the right path. Alpha falls on the snow as it's injured and was unable to walk. Keta lifts her and walks for a distance, but he also falls to the ground as he is also completely exhausted. He closes his eyes and dreams about his mother on the night before he joined his tribe for the hunt, who tells his father that Keta should be left at home as he is still young and inexperienced. But Tao believes that she is worrying way too much about her son since he is not as weak as she believes. Suddenly Keta awakes after dreaming about his parents, and with full courage he again heads towards the destination after lifting Alpha. After a few hours of journey, he could see his habitat from a distance. Finally, he reaches his tribe with Alpha. All the tribesmen get shocked when they see a live wolf in his hands. Keta's parents just get astonished and happy when they see him. Keta requests his father to save Alpha at any cost. After some time Alpha gets fainted. Later Shaman inspects Alpha and finds out that she is a female ready to give birth. Later we notice that all the puppies are healthy and also helping the tribesmen in hunting when they are fully grown up. This marks the end of the movie. Thanks for watching.